William, please. William.
Namo fundamental teacher Shakyamuni Buddha. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Okay, go ahead. Unmute it, you mute.
All right, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. Namo fundamental teacher Shakyamuni Buddha. Namo fundamental teacher Shakyamuni Buddha. Namo fundamental teacher Shakyamuni Buddha. The unsurpassed, deep, profound, subtle, wonderful Dharma in 100,000 million eons is difficult to encounter. Now that I've come to receive and hold it within my sight and hearing, I vow to fathom the thus come one's true and actual meaning.
Thank you. Very good. Okay. Okay, today we will start. Today we will do the long view. So basically, in Buddhism, we have in the six fundamental affliction. You remember, right? William, right?
Let me see. I think I remember most of them. I know greed, anger, ignorance, laziness or torpor. Man, is jealousy one?
No,
Holding it's wrong views is one of them, right?
Yeah, wrong view. Evil
Wrong
view. You can call evil view. It's okay.
views. And then is there grasping at prohibitions?
The arrogant, no? The arrogant. Arrogant is the fourth one. The fifth one is the doubtfulness.
Doubt.
And the sixth one is the evil view, or you can call it the wrong view. It's okay too. Okay, let's quickly go. I think that also keep me. It's a good idea to show you quickly on that too. Okay. Okay. We go to here. Good. All right. So this is the one, right? The five evil view, that means the view of the body, right? It's also the same thing with the view, the self delusion. In the mana consciousness, this is also have the same meaning with the self delusion, because the body, that means the five aggregate, right? Yeah. The extreme view. Do you understand what is extreme view?
Yes, the extreme views would be one would be like the soul is eternal, and the other one is that there is everything stops after death. Like either of those two, where it's like everything is materialistic, where there's nothing that carries on after death, or that everything, like there is a permanent soul that is unchanging and is eternal.
Oh, okay. No, we eternal. That means it's permanent. It never change. That means if this life I born as the rich person, right? Next life I will be same. It never changes. The another extreme view is nothing That means after we die, no reincarnation. That means we have only one life, right? This is what we. That means it's. I think it's for any animation, any relation, destruction, totally destruction after that. Okay? So that two are the two extreme view. The view of the wrestling at prohibition, that means the wrong view on the ritual and ceremony. Remember that?
Mhm.
The other religion, they practice, let's say, like sacrifice animal to worship God, right?
Mhm.
That is not, that does not help them to end their suffering. So that's why the Buddha, that is said, this is, if we wrap through those things, we will not be free from suffering. Um, and also relate to the ascetic, that means the extreme self-torment, right? Practice. Remember that the Buddha spent 6 years in the forest and he self-torment his body to the point that, but he almost come to the point that where he died, right? But he had to give up. Okay, so all those practice doesn't help. Okay. The view of grasping at view, that means the self view in the manner consciousness, right? The self view. If we uphold our view, if someone have a different view than us, we will not accept it, right? We will we will have a conflict with them. Improper view, or you can say that the wrong view. This is also the wrong view. Well, we're going to learn about 62 wrong views today. Superstitious is also the wrong view, right? And and also the person, if we believe in the time and the place that we born that affect us, that is also superstitious, right? Based on your month and day, remember? What do you call in English? I forgot.
Astrology.
Astrology? Okay.
Astrology.
Okay. That is also wrong. Okay. Let's, okay, that's very much for that. Let's do the 62 wrong view today. Okay. Not this one. I mean this one here. Okay. This is a long sutra, but it's worth it to me. It's very interesting. Um, okay, go ahead. We
Thus I have heard. Once the Lord was traveling along the main road between Rajagaha and Nalanda with a large company of some 500 monks, and the wanderer Supiya was also traveling on that road with his pupil, the youth Brahmadatta. And Supiya was finding fault in all sorts of ways with the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha, whereas his pupil, Brahmadatta, was speaking in various ways in their praise. And so these two, teacher and pupil, directly opposing each other's arguments, followed close behind the Lord and his order of monks. When the Lord stopped for one night with his monks at the royal park of Ambalatika, and Supiya too stopped there for the night with his pupil Brahmadatta, and Supiya went on abusing the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha, while his pupil Brahmadatta defended them, and thus disputing they followed close behind the Buddha and his order of monks. Now in the early morning, a number of monks, having got up, gathered together and sat in the round pavilion. And this was the trend of the their talk. It is wonderful, friends, it is marvelous how the blessed Lord, the Arhat, the fully enlightened Buddha, knows, sees, and clearly distinguishes the different inclinations of beings. For here's the wanderer Sapiya finding fault in all sorts of ways with the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha, while his pupil Brahmadatta in various ways defends them. And still disputing, they follow closely behind the blessed Lord and his order of monks.
Okay,
Then the Lord, being aware of what those monks.
okay. Let's stop right there. So this is easy to understand so far, right? Very easy.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
What do you think? Why that means the Brahma, the teacher, and his pupil is they have a different opposite view. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's interesting that Supiya is the teacher, but he has I would say, a less accurate view. Brahmadatta, being the student, sees things more clearly. And even though Supiya thinks that the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha have all sorts of faults, he's still following behind the Buddha and he's still engaging his student in a conversation rather than just saying, okay, Brahmadatta, we're leaving. You know, the Buddha, if he thought the Buddha was no good, why follow behind him and talk about him? Why not just leave? Um, and so, and then the monks noticed this, and one part I don't yet understand is why the example of Supiya and Brahmadatta, what they're doing, how that is a testimony to how the Buddha distinguishes different inclinations. Maybe later in the sutra that will be clarified.
Okay. Well, this too, they due to this too, we have this sutra. Okay. Due to
Okay.
we have this sutra. That's the purpose. That's the point. But later on, you will understand why they're doing that. Okay. Did you stop right here?
Yes.
Okay. Let's see. Tammy, you go ahead and can you read up here?
Then the Lord, being aware of what those monks were saying, went to the round pavilion and sat down on the prepared seat. Then he said, monks, what was...
Oh, sorry. Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
I'm sorry for that. Okay.
You're okay.
I think you read from
Okay.
here.
Yeah. Monks, what was the subject of your conversation just now? What talk have I interrupted? And they told him, monks, if anyone should speak in disparagement of me, of the Dharma or of the Sangha, you should not be angry, resentful, or upset on that account. If you were to be angry or displeased at such disparagement, that would only be a hindrance to you. For if others disparage me, the Dharma or the Sangha, and you are angry or displeased, can you recognize whether what they say is right or not? No, Lord. If others disparage me, the Dharma or the Sangha, then you must explain what is incorrect as being incorrect, saying, this is incorrect, that is false, that is not our way, that is not found among us. But monks, if others should speak in praise of me, of the Dharma or the Sangha, you should not on that account be pleased, happy, or elated. If you were to be pleased, happy, or elated at such praise, that would only be a hindrance to you. If others praise me, the Dharma, or the Sangha, you should acknowledge the truth of what is true, saying, this is correct, that is right, that is our way, what is found among us. It is monks for elementary, inferior matters of moral practice that the worldling would praise the Taga. And what are these elementary, inferior matters for which the worldling would praise him?
Okay. Can you summarize what we just read? So what we
So he's saying that explaining to the monks that they shouldn't be upset or resentful if someone is disagreeing with what is stating things that aren't in line with what they believe. But instead of being upset, that they should tell them, or not tell them, explain it to them correctly, what their beliefs are. And the same is true if they're saying things that make them happy or that they agree with, rather than being happy, they should just go back into talking about the subject matter.
Mm.
And the last part I didn't understand. That last sentence I didn't quite get.
Okay. The element inferior matter, moral practice that would create the and what are these elements? Inferior matter. Mm.
So are they saying the matters don't really matter anyways? Like they're inferior matters, either when they're disagreeing or when they're agreeing.
Okay. So basically, in here, the Buddha said that if someone try to offend you, do not get angry, do not have any resentful, right? Resentment. And if someone praising you, right, you don't. We should not be happy about that, because if we do, that is a hindrance to us, right? Why is that hindrance? What do you think? Why the Buddha said that if someone praises us and we agree with them, and that is a hindrance. William, what do you think?
If we take praise as actually acknowledging a quality or characteristic of ourself, then that one reinforce the idea that we have a true separate self. So it feeds our ego or self-delusion. But then also, if we're happy when someone praises us, that's connected to us being sad when someone insults us. So if we're going to be free from reactive emotions and be able to remain neutral and see things clearly, then we really need to release both the happiness and pleasure from being praised, as well as the hurt from being insulted or the anger from being insulted. We can't have the other.
So basically, when we are happy with whatever the other people praising us, that means we wait for the approval, right? That's the case, then that means that is a hindrance. We just, the way we should do it, we should analyze, we should recognize this is true or not true based on the Buddha teaching. That's the most important, not about other. So, and also in here, this is what I understand here is, the Buddha said that it is monk for elementary inferior matter of moral practice. Inferior matter of moral practice. That means the worldly people. That means that makes sense, right? This is the worldly people. This is us. This is the one that do not have much moral practice. And is that the one? Do you think that they know how to praise the Buddha? They don't have wisdom to do that, right? Then whatever they say is not true anyway. Why do we care about those things, right? Okay, all right. This is the section number 2. We are. Thang Thiện, go ahead and read the next one for me, please.
Abandoning the taken life, the ascetic Gautama dwells, refraining from taking life. Without sex or sword, scrupulous, compassionate, trembling for the welfare of all living beings. Thus the worldly would praise the Tathagata, abandon the taking of what is given, the ascetic Gautama dwell refraining from taking what is not given, living purely accepting what is given, awaiting what is given without sealing, abandon untacity, ascetic Gautama live far from it, aloof from the varied practice of sex. Abandoning false speech, the ascetic Gautama dwell refraining from false speech. A true speaker, one to be relied on, trustworthy, dependable, not a deceiver of the word. Abandoning the malicious speech, he does not repeat what he has heard, here to the detriment of these, or repeat here what he has heard, there to the detriment of those. Thus he is a reconciler of those at various and encourager of those at once, rejoicing in peace, loving it, delighting in it, one who speaks up for peace, abandoning harsh speech, he refrains from it. He speaks whatever is blameless, pleasing to the ear, agreeable, reaching to the heart, obeying, present, pleasing, and attracted to the multitude. Abandoning idle chatter, he speaks at the right time, what is correct and to the point of the Dharma and discipline. He is a speaker whose words are to be treasured, seasonable, reasoned, well defined, and connected with the goal. Thus, the worldling would praise the Tathagata. The ascetic Gautama is a refrainer from damaging seed and crops. He eats only once a day and not at night, refraining from eating at improper times. He avoids watching, dancing, singing, music, and show. He abstains from using garment, perfume, cosmetic, ornament, and adornment. He avoids using high or wide beds. He avoids accepting gold and silver. He avoids accepting raw grain or raw flesh. He does not accept women and young girls, male, female, slaves, sheep and goat, cock and pig, elephant, cattle, horses, and males, fear and plot. He refrained from running errands, from buying and selling, from cheating with false weight and measure, from bribery and corruption, deception and insincerity, from wounding, killing, imprisoning, highway robbery, and taking food from force, by force. Thus, the worldling would praise the Tathagata.
Okay, go ahead and summarize quickly. So, what we
This is what if someone taken the 8 precepts and they obey this without breaking it, without breaking one of the precept, and this person is the right person to praise the Buddha. If this person break one of the 8 precepts, and this person, when this person praise the Buddha, uh, it's not the right way to praise the Buddha because the person is breaking the precept. So the precept is like do not kill, and the second is do not steal, and third is do not avoid sexual activity and avoid the speech, the harsh speech, the false speech, uh, malicious speech, and other speech. But the person that used a type of speech has to be blameless, pleasing to the ear, agreeable, reaching to the heart, obeying, present, and attractive to the people. And this person should eat only once a day, and this person should avoid dancing, singing, music, and so, and he should be avoid doing something that make him attractive,
Mm.
and so on.
Okay. Do you think that this is the way to praising the Buddha? Is it the right way to praising the Buddha? Yeah.
I think the right way to praise a Buddha by found a precept with a pure mind, then that person is the right person to praise.
Yeah, this is a precept, right? This is if we can because the five precepts come from here too. So, William, what do you think? Is it the way we should praising the Buddha?
I think like the end of the previous section, the Buddha said that the reason that normal people praise the Buddha are for inferior reasons. So these are the reasons that the Buddha is giving that a worldling would praise the Buddha, because they see these actions as extraordinary. From Buddha's point of view, these actions are preliminary. And so to praise for these reasons would be to praise for something that is relatively less impressive, because the Buddha has attained indescribable knowledge and abilities. And these are like the first step. So it seems that in a way very good to praise these actions, because they are, like in the Brahmanet Sutra, they talk about the precepts being the seed of all the Buddhas. So one who follows the precepts, that it is like an excellent, it seems like a very good thing and essential to praise, but here it seems that the Buddha is saying that these are the things that just normal worldly people notice.
Yeah, this is the worldling would praise the Buddha, not the wisdom one. The wisdom will not praise Buddha in this world. Yeah. And that's why we need to learn in this sutra here, we understand the 62 wrong view. That's how we praise the Buddha. That's the best. Because when we understand the Dharma, it's beyond, right? Because that Dharma can help us to free from all suffering. And we can become Buddha from the Dharma, right? We can uphold the precept from the Dharma. Everything comes from the Dharma. Not only the avoid the bad deed and doing the good deed. No, this is very basic, right? Yes, we should do this, but this is not how we pray the Buddha. Yeah. All right, that's good. That's why it says this is the short section on morality. Okay. Anyway, anyway. Let me see. John, you want to let's see, John. You read from here. You here.
Okay, whereas gentlemen, some ascetics and Brahmins, feeding on the food of the faithful, are addicted to the destruction of such seeds as are propagated from roots, from stems, from joints, from cuttings, from seeds. The ascetic Gautama refrains from such destruction. Thus the worldlings would praise the Tathagata, whereas the ascetics and Brahmins, feeding on the food of the faithful, remain addicted to the enjoyment of stored up goods such as foods, drinks, clothing, carriages, beds, perfumes, meat. The ascetic Gautama refrains from such enjoyment, whereas the ascetics and Brahmins remain addicted to attending such shows such as dancing, singing, music displays, recitations, hand music, cymbals, and drum, fairy shows, acrobatics and conjuring tricks, combat to elephants, buffaloes, bulls, goats, cocks, and quail, fighting with staves, boxing, wrestling, sham fights, parades, maneuvers, and military reviews. Aesthetic Gautama refrained from attending such displays. While some ascetics and Brahmins remain addicted to such games and other pursuits as 10-row chess, chess in the air, hopscotch, spilkins, dicing, hitting sticks, hand pictures, ball games, blowing through toy pipes, playing with toy plows, turning somersaults, playing with toy windmills, measures, carriages and bows, guessing letters, guessing thoughts, mimicking deformities. The ascetic Gautama refrained from such idle pursuits.
Okay, good. Stop right there. So go ahead and summarize what you understand.
Like
Mhm. Okay. William, what do you think?
Here in the text, there's a contrasting between the ascetics and Brahmins versus the Tathagata. So it's really re-emphasizing what was already said by saying that, okay, the ascetics and Brahmins will do this, but the Tathagata won't. And a worldly person seeing that then has a reason to praise the Buddha, because even ascetics and Brahmins who are meant to be above a worldly person, they even fall into these actions that are really informed by the 6 fundamental afflictions.
Hmm. So that means the Brahman addict to all these things, and the Buddha refrain from all these things, right? So that's how the people, the worldly people, praising it. This is for external, for the outside, nothing for the inside yet, right? Okay, that's good. Let me see. I think you can help me to read it. The next one. Okay. Hold on. Oh. You can read the whole thing up to here.
Whereas
Uh,
some ascetics remain addicted to high and wide beds and long chairs, couches adorned with animal figures, fleecy or variegated coverlets with hair on both sides or on one side, silk coverlets embroidered with gems or without, elephant, horse, or chariot rugs, choice spreads of antelope hide, couches with awnings or with red cushions at both ends. The ascetic Gautama refrains from such high and wide beds. Whereas some ascetics and Brahmins remain addicted to such forms of self-adornment and embellishment as rubbing the body with perfumes, massaging, bathing in scented water, shampooing, using mirrors, ointments, garlands, scents, unguents, cosmetics, bracelets, headbands, fancy sticks, bottles, swords, sunshades, decorated sandals, turbans, gems, yak-tail fans, long-fringed white robes. The ascetic Gautama refrains from such self-adornment. Whereas some ascetics and Brahmins remain addicted to such unedifying conversation as about kings, robbing ministers, armies, dangers, wars, food, drink, clothes, beds, garlands, perfumes, relatives, carriages, villages, towns, and cities, countries, women, heroes, street, and well gossip, talk of the departed, desultory chat, speculation about land and sea, talk about being and non-being. The ascetic Gautama refrains from such conversation. Whereas some ascetics and Brahmins remain addicted to disputation such as, you don't understand this doctrine and discipline, I do. How could you understand this doctrine and discipline? Your way is all wrong. Mine is right. I am consistent. You aren't. You said last what you should have said first, and you said first what you should have said last. What you took so long to think up has been refuted. Your argument has been overthrown or defeated. Go on, save your doctrine. Get out of that if you can. The ascetic Gautama refrains from such disputation. Whereas some ascetics and Brahmins remain addicted to things such as running errands and messages, such as for kings, ministers, nobles, Brahmins, householders, and young men who say, go here, go there, take this there and bring that from there. The ascetic Gautama refrains from such errand running. Whereas some ascetics and Brahmins remain addicted to deception, patter, hinting, belittling, and are always on the make for further gains, the ascetic Gautama refrains from such deception. Thus the worldling would praise the Tathagata.
Okay, so what do you think?
So again here, going over some things that were said before, but acknowledging that Brahmins and ascetics would do these things while the Buddha doesn't. And the part about unedifying conversation, that some of that seemed to be new. It wasn't just going back over what had been said. That basically, idle chat, kind of all of those fall into unimportant talking that an enlightened being wouldn't waste time doing. And then the other part, near the end here, the list of different disputations. Yes, we never see the Buddha being harsh of speech like this. We never see the Buddha, even when someone has been very harsh with the Buddha and has acted this way towards him using these different disputations, the Buddha always remains calm and compassionate, will point out the person's faults, but in a way that they can see them, not in order to belittle them or to make himself seem more important. And then, the other two were mentioned before, the running errands, and I forget the very last part. Deception for in order for gain. Of course, the Tathagata would not engage in deception in order to get gain.
So basically, they only praising the Buddha based on this thing, right? Oppositely. So still not good enough, right? Still not good enough. This is not the way how we praising the Buddha. Okay. Now we go to this one right here. I think this is the one. Not yet there yet. Not there yet. Hemi. The top one here.
Whereas some ascetics and Brahmins feeding on food of the faithful make their living by such base arts, such wrong means of livelihood as palmistry, divining by signs, portents, dreams, body marks, mouse gnawing, fire oblations from a ladle of husk, rice powder, rice grains, ghee or oil from the mouth or of blood, reading the fingertips, house and garden lore, skill and charms, ghost lore, earth house lore, snake lore, poison lore, rat lore, bird lore, crow lore, foretelling a person's lifespan, charms against arrows, knowledge of animals, cries. The ascetic Gautama refrains from such base arts and wrong means of livelihood. Whereas some ascetics and Brahmins make their living by such base arts as judging the marks of gems, sticks, cloths, swords, spears, arrows, weapons, women, men, boys, girls, male and female slaves, elephants, horses, buffaloes, bulls, cows, goats, rams, cocks, quail, iguanas, bamboo rats, tortoises, deer. The ascetic Gautama refrains from such base arts. Whereas some ascetics and Brahmin make their living by such base arts is predicting the chiefs will march out, the chiefs will march back, our chiefs will advance, and the other chiefs will retreat. Our chiefs will gain, the other chiefs will lose, the other chiefs will win, and ours will lose. Thus there will be victory for one side and defeat for the other. The ascetic Wanma refrains from such base arts.
Okay. Yeah, you can summarize what we.
So it sounds like they're naming off a bunch of ways that Brahmins still wrongly make livings, and a lot of it's through kind of what we would see these days as kind of like fortune telling or just seeing marks on things and reading the past, kind of like, I guess, energy work is how they were making their livings, and they're saying this is wrong for someone that's not wise.
Okay. Do you, William, what do you think? Anything else you want to fit in?
Yeah, I think like we see that all of these things that the Tathagata refrains from are things that really come from self-delusion, and then they're done in order to be self-serving. So why would a Brahmin, like a supposedly holy person, involve themselves in war? Why would they try to help one chief over another chief to win a war? It would seem they would only do that if they were serving some selfish purpose, such as, you know, their own arrogance or acquiring money or fame or a position. And the same sort of things for judging like horses and buffaloes. What would be the reason for them to do that? The Buddha only pursues the highest reason, and so doesn't waste time on these other activities that are only going to serve like the lower reason of reinforcing self-delusion.
The ascetic and the Brahmin, they are the religious practitioners, just like the monk, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the purpose of the left home people, right? That means the monk or the ascetic or Brahmin, they need not to focus on this thing because this is not for them. Because if we do all these things, we seek for the advantage, we seek for the position, we seek for the fame, we seek for the enjoyment, pleasure. This is not, we give up everything in the world, in the worldly material to come for this thing. This is not for us. Does it make sense?
Yes.
Well, we give up everything to become a monk. Then now we come back and do the same thing just like the normal people do. What for? Because this thing, do you think that when we do all this thing here, do you think we can be liberated from it? No, not even physically, right? Then don't even talk about the mind. This will bring us suffer. It won't live. It won't give us the way to free from all this suffering. No. So what is the whole purpose of let's say for a monk? What is the main purpose to become a monk?
To attain the Buddha way.
Well, that's too far. to be more
Okay.
to be more realistic.
The interim purpose would be to remove distractions.
That means to become a monk to run away from the worry, and so we can find some place that we hide.
I don't think quite to that extent, because I think, generally monks will go in the monastery, they're with a lot of other monks. Initially, they are doing a lot more learning and chanting than they are meditation. So they still have to live in community and follow rules and get along with people. Isn't it usually after a period of time of learning and like chanting, reading the sutras, that they gradually go more into meditation?
Okay. Give me 1 second. So basically, when we live in the temple, we have to follow the rules. Whatever the schedule is, we stick with it. But we also know ourselves, right? To take care of ourselves as well. We need to know the purpose that we are here, what we do, not for this thing. So the purpose of being a monk, truly, we seek the Buddha teaching from the above. We liberate order from below. Did it make sense to you?
Mm-hmm.
That means we try our best to understand, to learn the Dharma. That's what we call seeking the Buddha for the Dharma, right? Basically, we learn about the Dharma, we try to understand, and we try to not only the principle, we need to apply the practice based on the understanding we have. And once we have that, at the same time, we also serve others. That is the whole purpose, to become the monk. Everything else is what we call is secondary. But the primary is, this is the thing we need to do. We practice for ourselves, for our own benefit, as well as we bring benefit to others. Just like when we understand it and we share the teaching to others, and not only from the principle, as well from the practice. So they can benefit, we and others can benefit both from, we can live more happily instead of more suffering. Right? We can help others to have a more happy life. And from there, we can go on and improve more in spiritual path. The practice can be many. That means recite the sutra, meditation, recite a mantra, whatever is suitable for you, and you just focus on those things. And at the same time, we need to learn the Dharma. Don't let this thing bother us. It will take all of our time, and we have no time left for the thing that we want to do. Right? If we involve in this thing here, do you think that we have time for for learning the Dharma? No. We have no time for practice. But sometimes there is an exception. In life, nothing is go smooth, right? But sometimes you have to see if there is affinity. For example, during the COVID last year, right? That means we have been shut down for the whole country, right? And everybody stay at home. And during that time, what we plan to when I got here, I plan to go to the mountain and I want to practice for my own benefit. And you know what? My master said, no, 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 no. This is the time to help them out because everyone at home. That means the parents, the children, husband and wife. There will be a lot of problems for them. So that's why a lot of parents request us, do you have anything to help the kid? And we say yes. That's why we do the Zoom online. We teach Buddha teaching. We taught the Buddha teaching every day, from Monday to Friday, each day 1 hour. And I teach 3 class. Total is about almost 70 students. You see, if we don't see the opportunity and we don't take it, then you know what? If we don't do that, we will not have the after school online, and we will not have the ESL for the Vietnam. You see, this is what we call dependent arising. That's what we learn. Dependent arising due to the condition. Does it make sense to you?
Yes, and in this case, generally when we talked about dependent arising, we talk about the 12 links, but here you're referring to the fact that there were these causes, and then meeting the condition of being willing to serve and enthusiastic about being helpful to people, then the causes in that condition coming together lead to the creation of these programs.
And also because we more focused on the children. Why was that? Because the children in this country, the language will be the barrier for us to teach them. Especially the monk, Vietnamese monk, we will have a problem to teach the Buddha teaching in English. And that's why a lot of temple, Vietnamese temple, they do have activity for the children, but not teaching the Dhamma much. And what happened after all the older people gone, right? The younger generation have no idea. They don't know anything about Buddhism. And who will be the one that support the Dhamma? The Dhamma will die out. Does it make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So we're not looking for the quantity. We're looking for the quality. That's important. Yeah. And when we search, we make sure that we search for the Dhamma. We don't search for the specific person. No. That's important. The Dhamma, that means we help others to gain the wisdom. That's important. And well, throughout 1 year, I teach many kids, and some of them is very understand the Buddha Dhamma very thoroughly, and they ask a lot of good questions that sometimes you cannot imagine that they can ask that good question. But anyway, That so to me that's the way it's. That's why when even though the Buddha refrained from it, this thing here, and you use that to praising the Buddha, it's nothing. But this is also good teaching right here. That for the monk to acknowledge what we are doing. What is the mission we have? What is our mission? Okay. Okay. Where do we stop at program? Did we stop right here?
The one above that,
What about that? Okay.
the sun and the moon one.
The sun and the moon one. Okay, good. Okay. And that's why you know what in all the religion, their scripture is very good about this to understand about the sun and the moon, understand about all this side here. But Buddha care less. In the Buddha teaching, he doesn't focus on this thing. But the only thing he focused must is help us to liberate ourselves from the suffering. That's more important than this. Right? That's very important. Because all this thing, even though we are very fluent, we are very good at this. It will not help us anyway. We still suffer, right? And what's good about the teaching? Okay. Thăng Thiện, go ahead.
Where some ascetic and Brahmin make their living by such base arts as predicting good or bad rainfall, a good or bad harvest, security, danger, disease, health, or accounting, computing, calculating, holding composition, philosophizing, ascetic Gautama refrained from such base art in wrong means of livelihood. Where some ascetics and Brahmins make their living by such base art as arranging the giving and taking in marriage, engagement and divorces, declaring the time for saving and spending, bringing good or bad luck, procuring abortion, using spell to bind the tongue, binding the jaw, making the hand jerk, causing deafness, getting answer with a mirror, a girl medium, a deva, worshipping the son of a great Brahma, breathing fire, invoking the goddess of luck, ascetic Gautama refrained from sect-based art and wrong mean livelihood.
Okay, stop right there. Stop right there.
From what I understand is the ascetic Brahmin make a prediction of good and bad things will happen, and they also do some kind of thing that bring good or bad thing to people.
Mm.
They worship God, and they rely on God and great Brahma to bring them luck.
Mm.
But for the Buddha, they don't pay attention to this,
Mm.
and this is the wrong livelihood.
Hemi, do you know what is the spell?
Did you say what is expel?
Mm.
Oh, So when I hear spells, I think of like some witches in the forest casting spells on people.
William, what do you think? What do you know? This kind of spell?
Yeah, I mean, I've heard about this phenomena of using spells, and I've had some like learning about South American shamanism, and the shamans down there supposedly regularly cast spells for various different reasons. There are like wicked ones who cast spells for bad purposes, and people might come and pay them to like try to curse someone. And then there are others who may try to cast spells for positive reasons to help people, but generally it seems that the spell casting is going to be self-serving.
Okay. Is that similar to the Buddhism mantra?
No, not my understanding, because with the mantra, there is a certain like vibration to it that is meant to attune us to particular qualities, like the qualities of compassion and patience, and draw us closer to these bodhisattvas, which are embodiments of these, or that like they're ones for purifying water, and that are meant that go align with right intention, that protect us in practicing the way, and are assistive. These, I mean, generally these spells are going to be self-serving. So if they're spells for a good purpose, well, the person casting them is going to be paid. And so they're doing it because they're getting paid, not out of compassion. Or if they're for a bad purpose, then obviously it's totally different than Buddhist mantras.
In Buddhist, we don't call it a spell. Where the mantra, remember, the Buddha teaching is represent for the wisdom and for the compassion, the loving kindness, compassion. That's the most important. That means the teaching of the Buddha, there are three different states: the beginning, the middle, and the end. Always good, nothing evil. That means always benefit all beings. And this is truly selflessness. Okay, so that's about the Buddhist teaching about the mantra. It helps us to even though for the evil person, when they recite a mantra, the great compassion mantra, their mind will turn into compassion. That's the whole purpose of the mantra. Does it make sense? To help them, not to harm them. That's important. Okay, we stop right here and we do the mantra. Okay, before that we. Oh, this is a little bit long, but I think. Oh, okay. Next week we will go to 62. And that is where this is the main learning. Okay, so next week. Okay, not this week. It's a little bit long, but it's okay. It's worth it to understand the whole thing. Okay, John, go ahead and do this for me, please. Thank you.
May we learn being our mind as one radiant with light, share the fruits of peace, for hearts of goodness, luminous and bright. The people can hear and see our hands are combined, giving unity. May the minds of words of great compassion, wisdom, to joy. May kindness find reward, may also release their grief and pain. May his balanced light break the darkness of the endless night, because our heart is one as well, praying to enter paradise. May all become compassion wise. May all become compassion wise.
Okay, thank you. we can do the mantra today. We skip this for some time. Okay. Mantra, where are you? Muga. Cô Lan, cô ready không? Cô làm nào?
Dạ thưa thầy được ạ.
All right. Okay. We do from 1 to 110. Okay. Okay, go ahead.
From 1 to 110 hả thầy? Yeah. Nam mô Hội Thượng Phân Bồ Tát hả thầy? Okay. Nam mô Lăng Nghiêm Hội Thượng Phân Bồ Tát.